Hi there, guys. Welcome to the next episode. Can't remember too clearly. I think we're up to episode 9 now, and it's titled Disabled Dude Becoming Homeless. At this very moment, no, I'm not homeless. That's the original title, and I'm just going to put part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 next to all of these videos. And I was homeless in the beginning, and I am still pretty much as homeless as you can possibly get having a house over your head. This is emergency accommodation. This is the place that I can really live at or even unpack. And it's thankful to have a place when other people sleep outside. But for a house, this is an absolute shithole. It's freezing. I have to go to sleep wearing a beanie and -4 degree temperature, 2 layers of sleeping bags, because it's sometimes colder inside this house than it is outdoors, which is really weird. I can't waste time explaining at the beginning of every one of my videos my situation. I'm just recording these videos because I want to be able to display to other people out there how to protect themselves a bit better than how I was protected. My rights were just forfeited pretty much illegally by the South Australian government when my wife and partner of, I'll just say 8 years from now, instead of saying decimal places, when she just decided that due to religion she would leave me and keep absolutely everything, including my personal belongings and my son, and make me homeless. That's pretty much what happened. I still have a legal process taking place slowly in the background for a separation settlement, but it's already been around 27 months and I haven't seen one single dollar, which is disgusting. And my previous partner wife has just kept absolutely everything imaginable, all of our hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of assets, and even my personal belongings that I collected in my entire life of 20 years before we even met, or 27 years before we even met. She has all of it. It's freezing in here. I'm going to do what I do every day, and that's because this house is so freezing. I am going to go sit in the plastic chair like a stereotypical person with no cash and a shit lifestyle, and I'm going to go sit at the front of his stereotypical joint housing trust house. And one of the reasons why I never thought why those people that are low down seem to be at the front of the house quite often more than any regular person is not just unemployment, but now I'm realizing it's also because maybe in winter like me right now, their house is freaking freezing, and maybe their coffee sitting in the sun is warmer than being inside their crappy house without being able to afford heating. Like, I'm too scared to turn the heater on because it's a primitive 1992 looking heater. I'm not running that. It would just give me a $650 bill and I ain't got a cent to pay it. So let's go get my coffee and get outside. I do have one coffee cup, but it's still at the front of the house in the driveway from yesterday. I think I'll leave the door open. As I said, it's shockingly warmer outside in the middle of winter. That's 1 hour after sunrise. It's more warm out there than it is inside this house. I am literally shaking and trying to walk around. You might even see the mobile phone wobbling. Just put this chair in the sun, get some warmth. I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but it's absolutely freezing out here. It's much warmer here, sitting in a little embarrassingly at the front of my house in the full sun than it is inside the house. So again, whether or not people understand my videos or not, I don't care. I'm just going to display that being stereotyped with intellectual disability and the word epilepsy, being 41 years of age and never been given a proper full-time job by an Australian business in my entire life is disgusting. The only employment I've ever had is stereotypically working for a Chinese person that doesn't care about paperwork and just what you're capable of doing. So the Chinese people would see a tall guy who is young and very fit. I'm still very fit, above that of an average person by a long shot. I'm a professional rock climber, and I've achieved a lot of things that no average person could ever do. But no, an Australian business person has never wished to give me a single job in my entire life. It's all been working for people that are stereotypically Asian, Chinese, and they just say, sure, you can start, this is the job, and they see what you can do. And when they see what I can do, they have given me a job, but of course it's been less than minimum wage, so it's not been the most enjoyable. So as I sit in the sun for another day, I'm going to try and work out how to occupy myself if I'm just meant to rot on disability pension for the rest of my life. I have a few ideas for tasks to keep my dignity, self-respect, and to be productive doing something every day, which is what I would be instructing my son as he grows up, and when he's even 40 years of age himself. I'm 41. I would even tell my son one of the most important things in life is to keep yourself occupied, and no matter what form of situation you're in, to try and make sure you have something productive to do with yourself every hour of every day of your life. Again, I will say, like I said in one of my previous videos, this location, the neighborhood, and the people are actually quite beautiful. I'm right next to a park / playground, and it is beautiful, and all the people are amazing. The two most common people I'm seeing all the time are people that, of course, are settling foreign blood from overseas, and they're always much more polite than an average Australian. Australians are pretty bad with Americans at socializing, but these people from overseas... Sorry, give me a sec. Oh, that tickled. Yeah, stereotypical male Americans in their country, the way they live, and male Australians and British men are the most rudest people on the planet at socializing with other people. Stereotypically, the world's most friendly people are people from India and Africa and so on, for reasons we won't go into, but it's true. The people around me here are probably 70% foreign blood from overseas, of course, and then I would say the other about 20% is young blood Australian husbands and wives, boyfriends and girlfriends having their first couple of children, and then the remaining is the elderly who very clearly look like they haven't moved much in the last 20 years and everything is exactly the same. So I have to make my choice if I'm just going to sit in depression and rot today, or if I'm going to try and keep respect for myself by being never-endingly productive, as I would tell my son, and always give yourself a job to do. And if you can't think clearly about something you want to do for yourself each day, if you're upset or depressed or just very tired, it's still a good idea to try and take care of a task, like, taking the rubbish out to the rubbish bin, washing your dishes, cleaning your house, going to the shop for that loaf of bread that you need. It's always good to keep yourself motivated with any form of task that can be productive at any point in time in your day, even if it means having a daily coffee, rather than just curled up in bed depressed or doing drugs and alcohol, which most people in my situation tend to do. And no, that's not a lazy quick comment. I do think that probably an absolute minimum of 60% of people in my situation at the moment, unemployment, disability, and living solely, loneliness and so on, I think I would even push it to 70% of those people get into substance abuse at some point in time as a way of trying to cope with their lifestyle that they can't handle. I'm incredibly proud of myself that I've never done drugs once in my entire life, because I've had it around me since I was born pretty much, and I've seen since I was born that every single one of these people look incredibly depressed, especially in the youth hostel that I was in when I was young. I wanted to be a cool dude, wink wink, and I wanted to go into the cool kids room at the youth hostel, and it had about 4 bedrooms, And he was the powerful guy. He was the cool kid. I wanted to be friends with him, and I wanted to be in the group of friends. I wanted to be a cool kid. Wink, wink. I have to do that thing, you know. I wanted to be a cool kid. So I knocked on the guy's door while he's blasting his stereo, stereotypically, with the other kids in there. And he answered the door, "What the fuck do you want?" And I was wearing my private school outfit, Thomas More College. It was a great place. I loved that school. It was my favourite school in all my education. And he said, "What the fuck do you want? You're, you know, this tall 6'1" young man, but you're a nerd. You wear a private school uniform. We're cool kids in here. We do hardcore shit. What do you want?" And I said, "Can I come in? Can I hang out with you guys?" And the leader said, "No, fuck off." And I got ready to leave. And then what I didn't understand at the time, why he called me to come back, but I do understand exactly now, exactly why. He wanted to recruit another person, of course, to make him feel better about his own depressing life, the leader of the kid in the youth hostel. So he called me back, and he did something that's very stereotypical, and he kind of said, "Do you want to be one of my people and be below me?" He said that in different words, but you get the idea. The truth was, he was saying, "Do you want to be like the fourth dickhead kid in this hostel that sits below me? Do you want to come in this room? Do you want to involve yourself in illegal actions? Do you want to do what I tell you to do? Do you want to steal cars? Do you want to do drugs and alcohol and be a cool person?" And I knew no. And I was confident looking after myself, and because of my intellectual disability and different than average personality, it wasn't logical to me to go and steal cars, and it wasn't logical to me to go start doing drugs. I did not understand for the next 20 years of my life, and continuing to cover from my brain tumor operation, I didn't understand why all the kids wanted to be cool, and that's go sit in a dark room and share syringes and steal cars. I did not understand how that was enjoyable. They all looked miserable. So anyways, I'll just continue with this story, and then I'll stop this video, and I'll try and do one more video today of what I was trying to do when I started this video, but the story I'm telling is actually very, very interesting. And my task today is I'm going to make sure I never just sit here in this house and rot, and I'm always out and about doing something productive. And if no one gives me a job, I'll just work for myself for free. And this disability pension and NDIS taxpayer money, if no one's going to give me a job, then I'll just waste more taxpayer money. I'll go to Facebook and drive local and buy a nice used lawnmower that looks practically brand new, and I'm just going to spend the rest of the day knocking on people's front doors that have a disgusting front yard and volunteering myself for free to mow their lawn, so that I can prove I'm not a lazy person. I want to work, but South Australian bosses won't give me a job because of the word epilepsy next to my name for the last, I'll just say 41 fucking years. But of course I didn't need to work when I was 1 year old. You get the point. Okay, so yeah, I'll finish that story. The story is very interesting. So yeah, I'm in a youth hostel. My mum raised me absolutely disgustingly terribly. That's why it's been my goal since I was about 10 to 15 years of age at most. I'm 100% sure by the time I was 15, I repeated in my head just about every month of my painful life that my ultimate form of revenge against my mother, who raised me disgustingly, and my three sisters, all of us disgustingly, and in many ways illegally and abusively, and in many ways in ways that you can spend time in jail for those acts that she did. My life goal from the age of 10 to 14 at max, I had fully established in my head, was I will raise my children better than how I've been raised, and I don't care anything I do with my life. I will prioritize nothing but my children. They have to have the same one parent, and if a woman does anything, if she changes, if she becomes fat and ugly, if she has her leg cut off in a car accident, if she becomes unemployed, if anything, I'm not going to leave that one woman that you spent many, many years looking for to find the perfect, innocent, maybe Christian girl, virgin woman that is most trustworthy to be with forever, not for yourself, but for the sake of your number of children that you want. I'm very old-fashioned. I'm like a guy from the movie, I can't remember. I'll pause it for a sec. Oh, I'm lucky. Even though my disability is about names and numbers, I can remember the name of the movie. It's called Spencer's Mountain. I hope someone that watches my video, at least one person, is familiar with Spencer's Mountain. It's got a very famous 1960s actor in it. And when I saw the movie Spencer's Mountain, I'm like, that's my life dream. That guy is exactly like me. I want to live in an old-fashioned place, go fishing, chill, relax, and work hard every single day with his many brothers in building his own dream house out of wood. Cuts down the trees, makes the house entirely himself. I can and I have kind of done things like that. That's not a brain dead dream. I have accomplished many things like that. Instead of paying a business to make me a $6,500 boat trailer, I just said, fuck that, I'll go buy tools and I'll make it myself. And I did. And my trailer cost about $1,800 and is about 4 times thicker steel and stronger than the business professional one. And my boat trailer is invincible. But I don't have a boat right now, of course. Anyway, sorry for the ramble. Back to the point. My memory problem short term is very severe. To all you know-it-alls out there that want to post rude comments, my life is involving more than yours by a long shot, my daily life routine. I am just sitting in the sun at the moment, but I just woke up, as I said, and I'm having a coffee. And I will be being productive with myself all day long and going out and working hard. If someone won't give me a job, I'll find my own form of work and I'll do it for free. The point of this video is I will show it to my son one day that when his mother made me homeless and took advantage of my severe memory disability and kept all of my money and everything I had in my lifetime that I'd developed for 37 years at that point, I kept going, and I think a lot of other people just would have wanted to kill themselves or to get into drugs and alcohol, and I didn't. So I'm very proud of myself. And I think the number one main focus, so that's my son. He's in second position, as mean as it may sound. I will show this to my son one day so that he is proud of me and how I never stopped working hard and loving him and missing him. And the number one reason is short-term memory, sorry guys. Number one reason, I'll pause it, it'll come back in a few seconds, is I just want to prove to other people out there that understand what I'm talking about. They've been in the situation themselves, or their friends have been in, but they've not thought about it enough. Or they see other people homeless on the street that look stereotypically like me, sitting with a shitty beanie at the front of their house in terrible clothing, wearing multiple layers of clothing, and they think that they're bogan losers. No, it's probably we are average people that would have had a job, but someone wouldn't give us one for some reason. And mine is the word epilepsy. I have never been allowed to have an Australian boss give me a job in my entire life, just because of the word epilepsy and the fear of seizures. So they've refused to give me work my entire life, and even given me examples. We would have employed you at this place, but we're scared you will fall to the ground, have a seizure, and get hit and run over by a forklift. That's not a theoretical. Some asshole actually said that to me in a job interview once. What an asshole. These days I understand if I had ways of proving that he had said that to me in a job interview, I'd be able to sue him for discrimination, unquestionably. And he would get in massive trouble for offending a person with epilepsy, saying, I would employ you, but because you'll fall to the ground and have a seizure and get run over by a forklift, I'm not going to give you a job, because I'm worried about the money you'd have to be paid out. That is disgusting what that fellow said. He should get in trouble for that one day. Anyways, back to my point, and then I will move on. And I've forgotten what the point was for the third time because of my short-term memory disability. I have, if you're a random web browser, you can see the scar on the side of my head. I'll pause, hang on. I'm not doing this for personal attention seeking. I'm doing this because I want someone to speak up and make changes. I want the South Australian government to see that this guy that's making these videos, sacrificing all his private life and possibly embarrassing himself, he's doing it because he's a young, strong, tall person that can work hard his entire life, but he's never been given a job by an Australian person because of disgusting discrimination. And the South Australian government would rather pay me probably equivalent to $100,000 every year of my life in taxpayer money to have people just leave me rotting somewhere, or to have someone caring for me now when I become homeless, than just giving me a fucking job. So at the end of the video, I'll tell you 2 choices that I have to make. And if you hung around to the end of the video, you pick one of the choices, what you think I should have done. But I'm going to finish the example I gave you of how difficult my life has been with the drugs and the youth hostel, because that is a very interesting story. It's not for my ego, I just think it's very, very interesting and proves the difficulty of my life and what I've had to go through, and proves I should be proud of myself that I didn't join in. So back to the kids. So the kids stereotypically had a leader, and he was the most violent one of the lot of them. And all the other poor kids that were in the youth hostel, one girl was there because her parents died in a car crash, and she only got looked after by her elderly grandmother in a nursing home, and the poor young girl was in the nursing home illegally, and the staff members at the nursing home didn't want to get rid of the girl obeying laws because they felt so sorry for the little girl who had nothing to go to. But the people in looking after the elderly grandmother, the staff members in the retirement village, they said to the girl, we're going to have to call the police and you're going to have to get out of here and go to a youth hostel. And she did. And then the other 4 boys that were in the youth hostel were very dumb and stereotypical, and they were bogan mum and dad kids with drugs and alcohol around them since birth, and they just wanted to be cool kids and go out and steal cars because they want attention from their parents they're not getting. They don't go to school, they have no form of education, and they've done drugs and alcohol since they're maybe even 10 years of age, which is just disgusting. The cool kid in this room with his other recruits at the youth hostel, there was like 4 or 5 rooms, and they were all empty except for his on one side and my room. The cool kid had like 3 boys in his room with him, and I was in the last room, and there was no one in the middle because they just hung out with the cool kid all the time. So I knocked on the door, said, can I hang out? He said no, but then he tried to recruit me. And he said, if you go out and steal a car, that's your initiation, just like an American gangster, and you can join in our group. I said, no, fuck you. And I went back and played my PlayStation 1. Then he came and knocked on my door, and he wanted more attention. He said, if you take these drugs for free, you can pay me back $50 later with the second lot of drugs I'll give you if you start selling them for me. And I'm proud of myself. I said, no, fuck you. And then the cool kid was so pissed off that I couldn't become one of his sheep that he went out and stole a car with the other kids, had fun, pulled up next to me on the front of the youth hostel in the back streets, and said, hey man, quick, get in the car, I'll let you drive. And the other kids in the back of the car, they said, what the fuck, you're letting him, Danny, drive? Danny didn't even steal the car. You made us do this, you made us do that before we can drive the car. You're just going to let him drive it straight away? He didn't even do anything. He didn't earn it. And I said to the guys, I said, that's okay, I don't even want to drive it. I'm not a fucking loser. And the guy said, what do you mean? And I said, well, look, you're in this Holden Gemini, an easy to break into crap car. It's obviously owned by a woman, and there's a baby seat in the back that you haven't even tossed out into the footpath when you guys are squeezing in 3 of you in the back, you're idiots. If I drive this stolen car, I'm only going to feel guilty the next morning of the poor young mum that looks like owns this car, and the next day when she wakes up, she won't be able to look after her child or go to work suggestively. You guys are pieces of shit. So they said, fine, fuck you, and they drove off. But I was proud of myself that day that I didn't join in. Anyways, my phone is about to go flat, so I'll end this recording, and I'll try and start another recording about what I'm going to do, go out today and be productive, and I'm going to try and work. If no one will give me a job, I'll find my own work instantly, even if it's volunteer. And I hope someone out there understands the point of my videos. You have to go back and watch the first video if you want to understand what I'm talking about. I can't re-explain everything at the beginning of each episode. Anyone that's disrespectful to me, fuck you. My life's hard, your life's not. You're just a stereotypical sheep that works 9 to 5 and gets money and food dropped in your lap. I work tremendously harder than you do, 4 times fold every single day, and I don't have much to show because I'm stereotyped with disability, and the government just wants me rotting in this shitty house, and they just want me to sit in the sofa and be happy. I refuse. I don't care if I've got the scary word epilepsy next to my name. I'm going to keep trying to work, and I'm going to keep trying to find an Australian citizen that's nice, that will give me employment. I think it will come along if I keep this confidence up. I think it will come along pretty quickly, in a maximum of 6 months from now. I think I will have a reasonable part-time job, or a full-time job that's 4 out of 10, and I can start getting some money and a lawyer to get my separation settlement and to get my son back. If anyone is supportive of me and you understand what I'm talking about with my disability and I did explain it well enough, could you please reward me by clicking on that like button and mainly subscribing to my channel to help pass the word around. And again, it's not for my ego, it's not because I can imagine I can make any form of money out of these videos. It is because I want the word spread around of people in my situation of disability and common unemployment and refusing to be given employment, and the government of Australia preferring to pay them money just to babysit them. I want that to change, and I want someone powerful in our politicians to be making a move sometime in the near future saying people with disability need to be given employment if they want it, and have ways found how they can work if they want to work and not just sit at home and rot. It's disgusting. If I ever bump into Pauline Hanson, I'm going to ask her if she can help me and the other stereotypes like myself gain the employment. See you guys.